has Doctor Who been nuked by Russell T Davies and Ncuti Gatwa, and this whole Disney Plus era of Doctor Who? In today's video, we're going to actually go ahead and have a little look at the ratings and full over season of this series, and really explain, do I think that these are particularly good seasons of Doctor Who? And we're going to fully come to a bit of a conclusion on the last two seasons. Now, just before I get into this video, I want to explain right here and now, I was doing a bunch of episode reviews, and I'm going to be completely honest, I've been incredibly busy recently with a lot of content on this channel and various other projects that I have in the works right now. So, the episode reviews have kind of gone on the back burner a little bit. But they are coming. They are going to happen. It's just going to take time to get them made and out, because with these episode reviews I like to script them, or at least roughly script them, so that I know what points I'm talking about. And it's a new format, but it's a vastly more time consuming format. So if you are wondering why I stopped at a certain episode, that is why. And they are on the way. So if you want them videos to come out and you want to see my full breakdown and review of each episode of season 2 of this new Disney Plus era of Doctor Who, then the first few episodes are out right now. So they are longer format videos. They are probably about an hour long each. So just sit down, grab something to eat, and watch them videos in your own time. And yeah, I will be making the rest of them videos. Again, they're just very, very time consuming to make. You've got to script them, then you've got to film them, which takes about 3 to 4 hours. And then you've got to chop all the fucking shit up and condense it all down and add all the pictures into the top so people actually know what you're talking about from the episode. And then you've got to export it and upload, which takes several more hours to do. And yeah, then it turns into a multiple day job on just, working on that specific video. So yeah, they are in the works. They are coming to the channel. Just be patient, and in the meantime I'm going to supply you with a bunch more Doctor Who content, which shouldn't take as long to make. So don't worry, there is still going to be a constant flow of Doctor Who content. I've got so much stuff planned for, I've got so much shit planned for this channel and Doctor Who content on this channel, so it's going nowhere anytime soon. But that's just an update on the episode reviews. Now, this video is going to be a bit more of a general video about the first 2 seasons of the Disney Plus era, the Russell T Davies reboot of Doctor Who, featuring Ncuti Gatwa. And there is some very, very mixed opinions and reviews on this series. Some people absolutely love it for some reason. I wouldn't go as far to say it's the best stuff from Doctor Who. It's not really in that area. And then some people are saying that it's the worst crap ever, and that it's terrible, and all that kind of stuff. And again, that's not necessarily true. There are some parts which are, bad. I'm gonna just say it out here. There are some parts of this new era of Doctor Who which is outright bad, and there are some good parts as well. So I'm gonna go through all of this and fully break it down in this whole video. So yeah, before we get into this video though, if you enjoy this sort of content, this Doctor Who content, reviews, updates, all of this kind of good stuff, then smash a like on this video and also subscribe to this channel and turn on the post notifications for more Doctor Who content coming very, very soon to this channel. Literally probably in the next couple of days, because I've got loads and loads of videos to upload and make on this channel that is Doctor Who related. So yeah, subscribe, like, and let's get into this video. So we're going to just take a little look at a couple of different bits. So I have right here a table with the ratings on from this season of Doctor Who, Season 2. Now, first of all, I've got to say, Season 1 was probably not the best jumping on point. You had Space Babies, which was, quite frankly, an alienating episode to new Doctor Who fans. I could see why a lot of people watched that episode who were new to Doctor Who and were like, what the hell is this? I don't know why I'd want to watch this. I'm probably going to give this a miss and go back to watching Star Wars instead. I get that, 100%. But there were also some strong episodes. For example, Rogue was a nice episode in this series. I enjoyed that. And then there's also episodes that they did badly in Season 1, which they improved upon on Season 2. So, for example, you have something like Dot and Bubble, which was a terrible take on racism, I'm not going to lie. It was very, very black and white and viewed through an incredibly narrow lens of, you know, okay, this is Russell T Davies' extreme view. This is very extreme view, and we're going to turn this into a Doctor Who episode to essentially prove something, I guess. Again, that's something that this new era of Doctor Who felt to me. It felt very preachy. It felt like it was trying to prove something with every episode. Like, every single episode, I'm not even kidding, every single episode had something in it that was some sort of message that Doctor Who is trying to essentially make a story around, and that's not how it should do. Yes, you want to have positive messaging in your shows, you want to have good morals and teach that kind of stuff to people, but you should naturally have them in there if you develop good stories. I mean, what is a good, you know, for example, like the original Star Wars, you know, 6 films of Star Wars, that original saga, that was based on just story. There was no forcing, there was no forcing shit into there for the sake of forcing shit into there. There was no crap or anything like that. Just pushed and shoehorned into this media. It was done authentically, and you know, there's a lot of good messages that come from Star Wars. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that for every episode that you have like Dot and Bubble, which, to be honest, wasn't the best take, you have something like Lux, which is a much more realistic take on an issue, and something that was handled a million times better than its Season 1 counterpart. So, yeah, you had things like that happening. You had episodes like the Robot Revolution, which was just a big preachy mess of an episode, which, to this day, I still find it incredibly difficult to rewatch, because just knowing how contradictory that entire episode is. Like, for example, the entire idea of this villain is that this villain is toxically masculine, and he doesn't listen, and he complains, and he has all these faults that are you know, a big push in this episode. And then you kind of reflect on the episode and find out that Belinda also carries most of these traits. She complains all the time. She moans about stuff to the point where she literally says things that don't even make sense. Like, to the point where there's literally lines in these episodes that don't make any sense. But saying that, there are some definite good points. For example, the CGI, the set building, the overall visual and audio aspect of this whole era is a good improvement, and I genuinely enjoyed watching, you know, big budget Doctor Who. It felt really, really good, and I must say that although there was a lot of different preachy messaging in there, I would overall say that it did get better and better towards the end of Season 2. And I found the episodes more enjoyable at the end of Season 2, and a big episode that was a big turning point for me was the Interstellar Song Contest. I just absolutely loved that episode. I think it it tackled it sort of highlighted an issue and a couple of issues, but it didn't like painfully obviously point the finger at something and you know, basically just blatantly say it. And so it was actually written well, which is cool. And just the visuals in that episode are really, really nice. And then that two-part finale, which I quite enjoyed, to be fair. I see what a lot of people didn't like the ending, and I completely see that. But personally, I enjoyed it a little bit. I'm interested to see where the show is going to go and what direction they want to take it in. But at the moment, that doesn't look to be the best. I don't know, it's not looking the best at the moment. Let's have a little look at the viewing figures of this season. So we've got the Series 15, aka the Season 2 episode rating. So you have Episode 1, which got an overnight rating of 2 million, which then went up to 3.36 million, to go then to 3.57 million for them 7-day figures. Then we have Episode 2, which dropped dramatically. I'm not even going to lie, this was a very, very disappointing thing that I've got to say. Like, just the fact that Doctor Who opened to 2 million is not good. I'm just going to put it out there. These viewing figures are not desirable. They're not good. I'm not going to sugarcoat it and say, oh, but the rest of TV is doing bad, so this is good. No, TV is doing bad, yes. Traditional television is doing bad, yes. But streaming services are fucking killing it right now. And pulling way bigger viewing figures than this. And considering that Doctor Who was supposed to be transitioning onto its streaming debut with this whole thing, these numbers do not look good. Even the 7-day plus figures are not looking very good when you compare them to a lot of other films, which I've done in other videos. So if you want to go ahead and check that out, I've done that, I compared it, that's all done. So if you want to argue about that in the comments down below, just go and find my other video where I actually explain it in more depth. But yeah, go ahead and check that other video out, give it a watch, and let me know what you think. But yeah, so we have Episode 2, which again struggled to pull more than 3 million on the 7-day plus and all that kind of shit. So yeah, then we had Episode 3, which had a rise in the viewing figures, which I think, again, the hype around Episode 3 was a lot more. Episode 3 was hyped up, so I think a lot more people watched it, and I think a lot more people rewatched it as well at the same time. So yeah, Episode 3, you had a big returning villain, the Midnight Entity. Once that word got out, I think that really, really helped to pull in a little bit of extra viewing figures. But it did not, it didn't give a drastic spike, but it did go up. So, you know, good in that sort of sense. It had 1.86 million, which then went to 2.91, to then 3.23, which, you know, is a bonus from the previous week. Then we have Episode 4, which became the lowest viewed episode of the season. I wonder why. You know, I wonder why, you know, pushing a very, very narrow-viewed political thing into an episode and making the entire episode about that political view, you know, I can't see why that would, you know, deter people from watching that episode. And yeah, there's a reason why this episode is the lowest viewed in the season to that point. I think actually looking at this right here, it is actually the lowest viewed episode of the series. And I'm just going to put it out there, it wasn't really my favourite episode. I wasn't a big fan of this. I felt it was very, very preachy, and in the same way that the Robot Revolution was to me, I disliked this episode for the same reason. There are some good points about it, but not that many. I definitely wouldn't boast about this episode or recommend it to anybody. If anything, I would say Lux and the Well are miles better than the Robot Revolution and Lucky Day, you know. But yeah, then we get on to episode 5, The Story in the Engine, which then sees a little bit of a rise to 1.59 million, then up to 2.46 million, then 2.7 million on the 7+ day, which did actually drop a little bit from the previous week, which dropped from the previous week, and etc, etc. Then we had episode 6, which is the Interstellar Song Contest, and surprise, surprise, the viewing figures went up again. Yes, who would think that having a big episode which has been hyped up for this entire time would pull more viewing figures? We were told, and we were hyped about this episode for literally months. Russell said himself, episode 3 and episode 6 are the episodes to watch out for. So naturally, the viewing figures went up on this episode, as you can see, and yeah, did a pretty decent run on this whole episode. And then we got episode 7, which did 1.83. Yeah, as you can see, there was a massive drop off on episode 7, and yeah, not looking great for episode 7. Didn't even break 3 million in the 7+ day figures, which quite shocking for a finale, I'm not gonna lie. And I think, again, one thing that I think that could have put people off is seeing that Conrad is back. I mean, there's a reason why episode 4 was bad and was pretty much seen as very, very preachy and this whole thing. So bringing back the main character, who was the core of this whole statement piece, for this other episode, yeah, of course you're going to get a drop off in viewing figures. It's not rocket science. So then it brings us on to episode 8, which naturally will get more viewing figures because it's a finale episode, and people will watch the finale just to see what happens. And I think there was a little bit of a hype as well around this finale about Ncuti Gatwa. Is he going to leave? Is he going to regenerate? Who is he going to regenerate into? All of that kind of stuff. So I think that extra hype did bring back the viewing figures a little bit for this episode, getting 2.17 million on the overnight and 3.44 million in the 7-day plus, which is better than the previous week's episode. So yeah, can't fault that too much in that sense of things, but it's still not great. These aren't desirable numbers for Doctor Who, especially a 60+ year long running show. This is a show that should be pulling prime numbers. You should be pulling 7 to 10 million viewers per episode, and this should be a big spectacle. Doctor Who should be what Star Wars is today, excluding the whole drop off in Star Wars, but we can push that aside. Basically, my point is Doctor Who should be bigger than what it is, and it is kind of sad to see that it's not. This is a show that I grew up watching and have enjoyed my entire life, and for something that is such a big part of my childhood and my upbringing, and something that even something as simple as me creating my own films and stuff like that. I've written and produced my own film work, and a huge part of that is to do with Doctor Who. Doctor Who inspired me to pick up a camera and start trying to film make, because things like Doctor Who Confidential and all them behind the scenes things, going to the Doctor Who experience, seeing all these wonderful props and seeing how the actual show was made, visiting the TARDIS set in Cardiff, all of this stuff really, really shaped me into the filmmaker I am today, and really, really helped to inspire me to go out and create my own stuff. And I will always watch Doctor Who. I will always come and watch the show. I'm always gonna, to show my support, even through the Jodie Whittaker era. I always watch the episodes. Yes, I did miss a year and rewatch and catch up the following year, but I've always watched the episode. I've always given it a chance, even if it was bad, even if it wasn't my thing or whatever. I still gave it a chance because I loved the show. And at its core, I still love the show. Yes, I don't think it's in the best position right now, but I want to see it thriving. I want to see it where it should be. And yeah, that's basically the whole thing. But yeah, that is basically the end of this video, so thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please comment, like and subscribe as always on this YouTube channel. I massively appreciate everybody who is subscribing and commenting and liking these videos. I always appreciate the interaction from you guys as the audience. So yeah, let me know what you think about the state of Doctor Who currently in the comments down below. Let me know sound off all your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. I absolutely love reading these comments and seeing what you guys actually think. So go ahead and drop a comment down below. And once you're down there, smash the like button and subscribe. And I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.